Welcome anyone to my YouTube channel. This is Everett, aka Two Beasts to Kill You, aka the Beast with the Least. And yeah, it's been a while. I have not made a solo video in roughly 2 weeks, I would say. Maybe a few weeks. I could check really quick on my... it's been a while. Whatever. Yeah, I think the last thing I put up was a Gears of War Reloaded quote-unquote review, which is probably about a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago. But, been busy with some stuff here and there. Still putting out the podcast for you. But, and I've also been putting out some, shorts of my gameplay. Just something, Alright, but hopefully I should be back doing my normal stuff. What better thing to come back to with talking about than the Xbox Ally X. But before we get into that, go ahead and hit that intro. Alright, so the Xbox Ally X. We now have a release date and you can pre-order it. Xbox just had Microsoft had their TGS, Tokyo Game Show conference. They showed their stuff. Forza Horizon 6 is the biggest thing. It's going to be set in Japan, which makes sense why it was set, or why they announced it there. But other than that, they didn't really do much. They didn't show much. And funnily enough, they didn't actually even announce that you could pre-order the Xbox Ally X, or the Xbox Ally, or when it was coming out, or the price, or anything about it during that show. It was afterwards, which maybe, I guess, could make sense. It was literally, at 3 a.m. in the morning here in California. So, depending on where you live, figure out the times there. So maybe they wanted to wait for a little bit, so that way, people who are awake here in the United States could actually see the news. But yeah, all right. I have maybe 3 points I'm gonna get to. Maybe really just 2. Yeah. So here are the details. You can already pre-order it. You can go on Amazon, Best Buy, Microsoft Store, Walmart, the Asus, whatever you say, website to pre-order this thing. Cool, right? Comes out October 16th. So it's coming up pretty quick. It's a little over, it's about a few weeks away. The price. Now here's where it's just damn. So the Ally, the white one that's not as powerful, has less memory, whatever, $599. So it's $600. Expensive. Very expensive. I mean, it's still probably on par with, maybe not on par, but almost as powerful as pretty much like an Xbox Series X, I guess. I don't know. I'm not that big of a PC gamer. I don't know tech specs that way. I just know that this thing is good enough to run a lot of PC games and all that stuff well enough. Battery power is whatever it is and all that stuff. Whatever. Now, the more powerful Xbox Ally X, the one you would probably want to go for if you really want that, you're trying to make sure you have the best experience and all that stuff for a handheld console. $1,000. $1,000. Now, before I get into my opinion on this, I guess, and I think you can already see or hear in my voice with the way I'm speaking about the price, whatever, I think you already kind of know where I'm going to go with it. I want to talk about the reaction to it, because you see, obviously you're going to see Xbox fanboys who are praising this, and they're like, hell yeah. I've seen a lot of people actually uh, post their, you know, that they've already pre-ordered it or paid it off or whatever. A lot of people actually, more than I would have thought. But you know, there's still enough that are just like, what is Microsoft thinking? What is Xbox thinking? Pricing these things at $600 and $1,000. I get it's a niche product. I've put this out. You know, I tweeted this out. Like, I get it's a niche product, but $1,000 is ridiculous. It is way too fucking much money. It's just way too much money. Or maybe not. I don't know. I mean, with the recent price hikes on consoles, you know, the Xbox Series X 2 terabyte being $800, a PS5 Pro is $750. I think it's $850 if you want to get the disc drive to add on to it, you know. So, I mean, I guess this ain't that far off for a mini PC that'll play your video games and everything. And I get it. I'm not one of those people who, like, you've seen a lot of Xbox fanboys that have said this is an Xbox, and I get that that's Microsoft's Xbox's whole marketing thing or whatever now is this is an Xbox, whether it's a phone, a TV, a PC, an actual Xbox, the Ally, you know, whether you like that marketing slogan or not. This is obviously not an Xbox. It's a mini PC that's Xbox branded. You know, so $1,000 for a mini PC that's supposed to be super powerful enough to be able to basically run any game. I mean, $1,000 is not bad. When you look at it that way, here's the thing. Like, again, this is a niche product for a certain demographic. Maybe they don't think that the casual audience really wants to go for this, so they're like, just price it the way they're going to price it. Plus, obviously, with, you know, we'll just say certain political elements nowadays or currently probably messing that up. But yeah, yeah. Then obviously on the other side, you have the PlayStation fanboys. You know, just completely laughing at this. And one of the things that I want to point out with this is they are now bringing up the Phil Spencer quote where he said, like, we're not going to grow the market with $1,000 consoles. He was referring to the PS5 Pro when he said that because, you know, of how expensive it is and everything. So now they're trying to be like, oh, look it, he's a hypocrite or whatever, or Xbox is being hypocritical. They're putting out a $1,000 console, which I think is hilarious that they're saying, oh, look, Xbox is putting out a $1,000 console when for pretty much the entire time that we've known that this thing has existed, they said it's not an Xbox console. So, you know, what do the kids say? Keep that same energy. They didn't do that. Now all of a sudden it's an Xbox console because it's $1,000, which, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You know, you see the websites being, you know, negative on this. It's Xbox. It's always going to be that. But I've always maintained this isn't a console. It's a handheld. It's Xbox branded for sure. You know, they've put their stamp on it, but this is a mini PC. But yeah, my opinion is I think this is dead in the water. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm way off base here and Xbox fucking just kills it. I mean, they've already... Now, I don't know how many they've produced or have been produced. Xbox has already put out a, you know, tweet saying like it's pretty much almost sold out worldwide, but you could still like buy it on their website and all that stuff. I just to price it the way they priced it. I don't know what their expectations are. that maybe they think it's not going to sell as that it won't sell like hotcakes, and they know it's going to be a very like lukewarm reception when it comes to sales. So they just want to make as much money as they can or whatever, or they just really want to sell this, but they kind of have to sell it at $1,000 at $600. I don't know. Yeah, I know I've talked about on podcasts and previous videos I've put out that I wanted to get one, but oof, $1,000 is a very, very hard ask of someone. Like, especially for someone living in Southern California. Those Democrats don't like to make things cheap here. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Obviously, a handheld that you can, play Game Pass games on, download your games on, you play Steam and good old games, GOG, Epic Game Store, all those, whatever else, the Gooner games. I think that those are on their own websites that you have to get them. I know there's a game called Ananta that I actually really want to try that you have to go on their website to pre-register or whatever. This is cool. Like, and obviously you can dock it, put it, connect it to a monitor, and it acts as a computer, So, I mean, if this is you, if you want to get into PC gaming and this is your way of doing it, cool. But if this is like you want to have a handheld to be able to play games like when you're on the go or when you're on a couch and maybe your kid or your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, whatever it is, your significant other, parents, whatever it is, whoever it is using the TV and you can't, like, this is a hard ask for someone like, for them to want to try, like, convince those people to buy. It's, again, like, forget the $1,000 one. Like, forget even just the $1,000 one. That one, take it out. $600 still is a lot of money when you can just spend that $600 to buy an Xbox Series X, which I actually think is what the Series X is currently priced at. So, it's either spend $600 on a handheld that you then, if you want to be able to connect it to your TV to play like that, you're going to have to buy an extra dock and buy an extra controller. Or spend $600 and you get the console, which just connects to your TV like that and comes with a controller. And if you're still in physical games, there you go. You can buy physical disc-based games and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to, like, see any positives in this, but I think the asking price is too much for what is essentially a beefier Switch 2 when you could just buy a Switch 2. And yeah, obviously you can't play Xbox, well, Game Pass and all that stuff, and Steam games and all that. But this is a gaming handheld. Like, the applications of it being a PC at the same time are going to go over the heads of a lot of people that aren't necessarily the more casual audience. Like, it's going to go over their heads. So I think just pricing it the way it's priced, it would have made way more sense to try and go for like a $400. And look, it's Microsoft. I understand people are like, well, they got to make money on this or whatever it is. No, they don't need to make money on it. And I know Asus is, it's Asus, whatever. The other company, their ass is on the line too with this. But like, it's Microsoft. They're like, they're a $1 trillion company. Literally a multi-trillion dollar company. Or maybe just $1 trillion. I don't know exactly. I think they could afford to maybe lose some money on this, and maybe even be like, look, we'll foot the bill to Asus to be like, yeah, don't worry, we just want this to sell. To make maybe like $400 for the Ally, Xbox Ally, and $700 for the Ally X. I just think Microsoft should have done that. I mean, it's not like it would have been out of the norm. I mean, historically, the company sold consoles at a loss. There's that famous Red Ring of Death where they clearly lost a lot of money, fixing that issue. I think if Microsoft really wanted to try and get back in the game, they would have just been like, we're just going to fucking eat the cost a bit. Just a little bit. Maybe $500 and $700 or $750. I don't know. But I'm rambling at this point. Yeah, $1,000, $600 is a lot of money. And the internet is either making fun of it or crying over the price. And there's a few celebrating and saying, fuck it, I'm still buying it. But okay. Alright, you like what I do on this channel? Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I'm going to try and get back into the cadence of making more videos. I just recently got an internal capture card. So I'm going to try to start doing a little bit. I'm going to try and start doing some live streaming now and everything. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. Alright. So, I've been Everett. And until next time, I'll catch you later.